Hi, this is Greg with Engaging Teacher. I'm starting a new TPT store, and guiding me through the process will be Rebecca. She started her TPT store over 5 years ago and has agreed to answer my questions and share her experiences running an online business.
I wanted to run through the numbers on the Pinterest. We created a video and posted it a while back talking about promoted pins, and I actually promoted 2 pins, and we had you can look at that video and see our thought process, and this is just a follow-up to show how promoting a pin has helped my store. So if you could help me just kind of run through the numbers and tell me what they mean and show that to me, that'd be great.
All right. So what we are going to do is I've done some screenshots from your TPT store. So let me pull those up. I'm not going to bring up your ad account here because it will have all of what you've spent and all of that. So we'll just look at it from your TPT screenshots that I've got.
Okay, and people can look at their own screenshots under dashboard on their store.
So this is way back in July when we were trying to figure out which pins to even promote. And do you remember here what we did?
So we went through and we found 2 of the pins that we thought were going to work the best based on how they're performing. And this is page 1 back on July 7th. And only one of those pins that we promoted is even on this page. It's number 5, the laptop computer with classroom chairs. And it brought 1 person in.
Yep. So then we decided to promote 2 of your video pins, and they're pretty much the same except for visually they look slightly different.
Right.
But they both have a video of the same presentation rotating through.
Okay.
It was just the background that was different.
Because we're comparing an A and B. Basically, we want to know if one works better than the other, what do people like, and then decide if we're going to promote past that or change how we promote.
Yep. So then fast forward to August 9th, and if we look here, we can see within that month's time, already these are now the 2nd and 3rd highest ranked for bringing traffic to your store.
Right. So we went from 1 person to 288 and 165.
Right.
So that was a big difference.
Exactly. So you have that many more people that have come to your store to look at your product that may or may not have found you in the TPT search.
Right.
So that's the entire point of doing this advertising, is that you're trying to get eyes on your products. And you remember when you first started, we even typed in your store name and your store name wouldn't even come up.
You couldn't find it by doing the search on TPT. So this was really important in the beginning. But also something that you told me to keep in mind is that make sure you have enough products to where it makes sense to spend money on promoting. Don't promote, unless you have a product you think is really going to sell well. It's a personal decision.
Absolutely.
So, but I was at a place where you couldn't even find me, and now I have 288 and 165, and this is on August 9th. So this is after a month.
And this could very well happen if you organically, let's say you have a pin that people just really respond to and they're saving and they're clicking on it. But again, organically means that they have to find it.
Right.
And if you are relying on people to look through and find your pin, it may or may not happen. Paying for it gets you up to the top.
Right. And it all depends on how you want to grow your store, right? If you want to just organically do it as you're adding products, as you're learning, as you're making your products better and better, that may make sense for some people.
Absolutely.
But if you want to promote, we just wanted to see if it actually helps.
And what would you say here?
Definitely saw a difference. That there's 288 to 165 seems like one pin's doing a lot better than the other. And they're definitely doing better than what I was doing organically.
Okay. So now let's take a look at next month.
Wow.
So this is 1 month after that.
Okay. So we went from 288 to 1,619. and whatever that other number was to 1,055. So a huge jump.
A huge jump. Yep.
So still second and third, but you're never going to beat Teachers Pay Teachers. Probably that's probably always going to be number one, isn't it?
I would assume
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So, but that's a ton more eyes that were drawn to the store by those promoted pins.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel that it was worth it? Because you were out some money after this, right?
Right.
Right. So do you feel you actually know this? Did you make your money back? Did you make the same amount of money that you spent on your ads?
Way more. So for me, it worked really well. So just getting people in, and this is part of when we set up the pin, we were going for a specific audience, a niche audience that was looking for a very specific product is what I sold. So I had my audience in mind. We tried to target to them, and Pinterest does all that behind the scenes. I can't, we just put in the keywords and everything. So for me, it seems like I was drawing in the right kind of customer that was actually interested in my product because, yes, I had a very good month.
Okay. So let's take a look. We're going to go now to, this is what we've been looking at is the TPT traffic screenshot. Let's go to your Pinterest, okay?
Okay.
And this is your Pinterest from the last 90 days.
Okay.
So this is what we've done from the beginning, essentially. And so you can see here we've blocked out how much you've spent because that is your private information. However, we just want the audience to be able to see kind of here where you weren't paying.
Organic.
And then, look what happens. And we can see here the same thing with impressions. And again, impressions is kind of what they call a vanity metric. Sure, it's great that a lot of people have seen it, but is it the right people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the more people that see it, then hopefully you'll get to the right people. Here's where we're talking. We're looking at link clicks. So this is people that have actually clicked on your link on your pin because they say, what is this? I want to know more.
Okay.
Okay. And yours we have set up to take us to TPT.
Right.
And so we can see here, what did we have? Like 1,600 and 1,800s or it gets you around the 3,000.
Yeah.
But again, those numbers never 100%
Right. They
match.
never exactly match.
No, they
Don't
never
know why, but it's close.
And then here, people that have saved it. 609 people have saved your pin. That says, I'm interested enough in this that I'm probably going to go back to look at it later. And so I'm going to keep this here. Now, some people might save it because they like the design or they, have questions or whatever. But that's 609 people that have saved your product.
Yeah, that was kind of our goal in the beginning. That was the metric I remember you talking about in our last video of what we wanted to try to get. It wasn't about the impressions, it was about the saves, and that's massive.
And so finally down here we can see a side-by-side comparison of the two different videos that we did. This is 112,000 versus 135,000 impressions. Your clicks 1.2 thousand versus 1.8 thousand, and your views 75.6 to 89.9.
And just, to let everybody know, I didn't change anything. I went in, did the promoted pin, filled it out in that last video, and I've done nothing on Pinterest since as far as the promoting pins. So I'm still promoting these pins, just like I set up. I didn't change more, I didn't change money, nothing like that. So what we're looking at is what I set up back in July, what it's done for this whole time. So at this time, now that I'm looking at it, is there something I need to think about as far as promoting a different pin, or have I done a long enough comparison? Because there's a real big jump from 1 month to 2 months. So in your opinion, I know it's, just kind of your idea or thought process, would I keep promoting these pins or maybe try others? Or
What I might recommend is continue doing this until you start to see some sort of level off.
Okay.
But also get some fresh content in there because Pinterest does reward fresh content.
Okay.
So that would be something that I might consider. Maybe you can take one out, the one that's not performing quite as well. That's up to you. If you feel you have the funds and you can do another one. But again, these are all video pins that you have, right? I think you have a couple other kinds. Maybe you can test one of those.
Okay. And as far as money spent, basically it was 50-50 on these pins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one started to perform better than the other, but it's not like I put more money on one pin than the other. We set it up pretty much the same way.
Yep.
So they do start to separate after a while.
It looks like it. And you never know. Maybe next month the other one will be in vogue. But, I mean, that's why collecting data, just like any other research, you want to get as much data as you possibly can. And as long as you are still making money based on what you are investing, if you're making more than what you're putting in, I would say it's good. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, and this made a huge difference as far as sales. So just once again, though, make sure you have the products before you do the promotion.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Don't just throw money at it, because that doesn't do anything but waste your money.
Right. But Pinterest, for me, definitely helped.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.